Hello, my name is Bianka, and I'm currently on week 8 of my program. I've had a great experience so far. It's been very exciting. This week we went over a lot. It was a lot to cover. We went over our temporary crowns, our alginate impressions for our upper specifically, and then we also poured stone and then trimmed them up a little bit. So there was a lot that went into this week for sure. I had a lot of fun though. It was very interesting to see all the components kind of coming together, especially for the alginate. So we took our alginate impressions on each other, and then we also were able to kind of try it on ourselves, see how it's supposed to feel, how it feels as well. We've never done it before. So we were able to do our alginate impressions, and then once those were done, we were able to pour stone into them. Pouring stone is a very messy process. It can be a very time-consuming one if you're very new at it, which we all are. So we took our time, but our professors were very patient and very, very helpful. Our instructors are truly incredible, and they always help us out at all times, especially when we have questions. They ask us to ask them questions. It's incredible. But we were there for a minute trying to making sure that our impressions were being poured up correctly, that there were little to no bubbles, that we were using the materials correctly, and that we were using all of the machines correctly as well. Once those were poured up, you have to trim them to make sure that they're clean all the way around. We were fabricating these to create a bleaching tray for our own mounts. We created our upper this week, which was very interesting. We trimmed them up. I was really scared of the trimmer because it's loud and huge and you have to use water with it, but it was very easy to use after you get the hang of it. First time though, it was a little confusing. Hopefully next week I'll have better luck with it. But it was great. I had a really good time and everything came out great. I had a couple of bubbles that I was able to fill up with some flowable composite, cured it under a curing light, and all was well. My favorite part though of this week was our temporary crowns. I didn't know how a temporary crown was made, what goes into that, the materials. So it was very interesting to kind of see how that was made and make one myself. So we were able to use models this week of mouths, and instead of doing it on each other, and our instructor had a prepped tooth. So when a patient comes in for a crown, it is typically because that tooth has some form of decay or they need to cover it up. And essentially our instructor created a prepped tooth. Whenever you come in for a crown, the tooth cannot just be just itself. The decay has to be removed. All that kind of stuff has to be prepped. It looks very different. It's like a tiny version of the tooth essentially. And you take an impression of the patient's teeth while the tooth is still full. This looks like a normal smile. And then you take that impression out and then you prep the tooth. I mean, these can be done different sessions, different visits. And then you prep the tooth, and then you would be able to start pouring up and making sure that you fill up your tray and everything to create your temporary crown. So a big thing that we learned, always put petroleum jelly before you add any form of material into your bite registration, and also on the prep tooth. If not, it could stick and you won't be able to get it out. We learned that the hard way. But we got it out and it was perfect and it was really great. Once you're done with that, you let it cure, you let it stay, you make sure that it fits on the patient's tooth, you make sure that it's comfortable, or you filled it up a little bit too much, or something will get a little spilled, and they typically ask you, hey, can you kind of fix this side? It's a little rough around here, it feels like it's poking me, and then you fix it. We also learned how to create bridges in the exact same way. Instead of one tooth though, you worry about 3. So instead of just one, we had the 3 tooth that were prepped. We did the same bite registration and everything, and then we just filled up those with material, and then we were left with something that looks a little bit like this. So you can see 3 teeth, and then on the bottom we were able to fill them up with cement to kind of see what it would feel like. So you put cement on the outer 2 ones, and this is the tooth that's being replaced, the middle one. So it looks like real teeth. It would go fine in somebody's mouth. As you can see, we got a really good copy of it, and then on the sides it's trimmed up on all sides. So some of them is going to look a little funky just because of different people's, the way that their mouths are. Not everything is going to look the same. Some are more comfortable than others. This could be taken down, in my opinion, a little bit more, especially like right here, but for the time allotted, this actually worked just fine. It fit on the model just great. So yeah, it was a great class, and I'm really excited and looking forward to next week. We can work on our lower impressions for our bleaching tray.